Welcome to Pound Still Broken. Today we're doing a Ryobi fuel line. It's basically a weed whacker. They're all pretty much the same. This is a 31cc Ryobi 790R. And last year when I bought it, the fuel line wasn't even on it. And it had two engines. So anyway, it had two engines on it. And so I took the line off of one engine and I put it onto this one. Well, it leaked by the end of the year. So I went to Lowe's and I picked up a Arnold's fuel line and a low pressure fuel line and some primer bulbs, because you can also see the primer bulb's no good. So when you press it, you lose a little bit of gas. Not really a big deal, but you do. So for the fuel line job, I'm thinking that all you need is needle nose pliers. Make sure that the cutter on them is okay. The pliers are for if you need to bend this part, the little tool that comes with it. I was kind of excited that one came with a tool. Although so far messing with it, it hasn't really worked that great. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, this here is the part that the fuel goes through. Let's see if we can get it a little closer here. Boy, that's hard to zoom in on. All right, anyway, this is where the fuel goes through. The idea is that you won't lose your fuel with this, right? It won't fall out of the bottom of the tank. So this part technically goes in to the fuel line. Let's see if I can. Normally I have a little recorder helper here. Probably get one in a little bit here. Anyway, this goes into the fuel line like that. And you want to get it all the way up to the line. You want to get it all the way up to that line. And that's the basics. So it's really pretty easy to get the old one out. You simply pull it out. See if we can get it to zoom in here. Looks like that's not gonna work. We get a zoom in here, and you just pull it out of there. Now remember that you got this piece on one side of it inside the tank. So what you wanna do is you wanna push up to get the old one out, basically through this hole. See this? You just kinda push it up and then you'll pull it out the top. And then you'll find this. If it's your primer one that's leaking and you open it up and you look inside and you see this part, no, don't mess with this one, because this one is the other one. It goes into the carburetor. All right. So I've given you kind of the basics and the pieces that I've purchased. And so I'm going to pause it so I can get everything ready to go, and we'll probably have better video. Hold on. All right. Pound Still Broken. Here we go. We're going to try this out. Now, what I was checking earlier was, does this actually fit through the hole? Come to find out, it does fit through the hole. So I'm kind of starting to think maybe you're supposed to stick this through the hole. But then my brain says, no, I don't think so, because we need the fuel line to be inside. So sometimes at Pound Still Broken, I take things apart and have no idea what I'm doing. And that's okay, because I fix more things and then I learn more things, and we kind of keep going from there. So I'm guessing that this is just kind of a bobber that goes inside. Had it been made a little bit different, I would believe something different. One thing that I'm considering is that you get it down to a certain level and it sticks out. So we're gonna do a little bit of experimenting. So first things first, like I said, I bought different lines and I grabbed the new line kind of excited because the new lines are a little better quality. But I couldn't get this in to the newer line. Oh, but it's working this time. Okay, let's use the newer line then, because it's the same. It's really thick. I like it. Anyway, I was working with this one earlier, and it just is not very pliable. So let's get this through. A couple things to keep in mind. Make sure your fuel is empty. Now the reason I'm doing it is I would put a little gas in here, and by the time I was done, or well, by the time I was ready to do some of my work on, there we go, on my weed whacker, I'd lose all the gas, and then I had to start over, and that was super frustrating. All right, we got some stray dog in our yard.
Hold on.
All right, are we on?
Yep.
Sorry, we had a little stray dog issue. Okay, so pound's still broken. We got this in there like that, so this one might actually work 1,000 times better than the other one. We're gonna find out. Okay, so on the back of the instructions list, it says fuel line with filter attached. Put it through the hole, pull it out. Now, I'm not buying it because I already tried that. But we're gonna try it again for the sake of the video. I'd kind of recorded earlier, but we had a little camera problem. So that's why everything's taken apart and you didn't really get to see me take it apart. But no big deal. So we're gonna push this through. Can you see that? We're gonna, according to this little picture, it says just stick it in there like this. Probably far enough up that it will be loose when it comes down here. Right? Now let go down there. All right, now we're just gonna carefully pull it through. Last time I did this, it took me hours to get this through because I was working with this much hose. I didn't think you could buy new fuel line. So I took it off the old engine, I tried to get it to work, not working. So anyway, this should be an easier little trick. What I'm watching for is when the pipe actually gets down there, and right now it is not working, kind of like it didn't earlier. Came out before it pulled it through. We're gonna try again. This time I'm gonna use my needle nose pliers. I'm gonna make this a little thicker. Maybe. Alright, so I made it a little thicker to hopefully make it go, okay, I'll go through. Oh man. Alright, here we go. Man, we want to get it far enough into this tube. And it doesn't say this anywhere on the instructions, but we want to get it far enough into the tube that when it actually gets down here that it's not too big to go through. Oh, but we made a mistake already. But it's an easy fix. Can't get it through the hole if both sides are already taken. Alright, so here we go. Maybe. There we go. Alright, just gotta get your fingers in here. Needle nose pliers are the best for this job. Alright, let's try this again. The hardest part on mine is that it angles in like this, and so you can't really work with it much. You just gotta kind of try to get it with your finger. So make sure your fuel is totally empty or this is pain. It's gonna get all over you. Alright, so we're just gonna stick it back on. A little part here. It says it's a filter, but I think that they're talking about this one. Because this one's just for priming. And that's how you know which one's which. I think I've already mentioned that, but you can tell this one goes right to the carburetor because it's got the expected filter on it and it just sits inside the tank. So because of the way it was set up, I thought that's what you did with this one too. And I think that's pretty darn close, but I think I cheated. Did I just cheat? I think I did, because now you don't need the tool. Well, okay, here we go. Did you guys like how I used the tool? Oopsie. Alright, well, I guess that's it then, I guess. I don't know if this part's supposed to go through the tank itself or not. I think the only way to really find that out is to run it, put gas in and see if it leaks. Anyway, we're gonna cut it. I got plenty left to do it again if we need to. I'm gonna cut it a little long here, about there. All right, now take a look here. You see this little thing there, this little valve? Sorry, this thing's kind of in the way. Can you see that? We're gonna basically just go like this. Super hard. And there you go. You don't have to throw it away. You don't have to go buy a new $300 one. Spent 12 bucks instead. I'm gonna throw the filter back in. And hopefully it's not leaking from that one, but if it is, heck, we bought enough line, we can fix that too. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a little bit of fuel. Don't overdo it, because you don't know if it's fixed yet. And we still wanna fix the bobber. And we're just gonna pour it in. That's probably good. So far, I don't see any leaks. Kind of force it through there. We didn't really put enough to light it. All right, that looks good. Really. So, no leaks that I can see. Now let's go to job 2. And honestly, I have no idea how to do this one. Ah. Alright, so we're gonna use our needle nose. And there's a little pin back here. Can you see that on the video? Little pin here. And a little pin on this side. Just push it in with your finger, and magically something happens. You're gonna love this. This little thing pops out. Now I would guess that people are probably terrified of replacing this part, and that part that we just added magically is on the back of it. Woo! All right. So now we need to find out. And you don't have to worry about this leaking very much, because we're higher than the gas tank right now. Higher than the lowest point of the gas tank, and there's not a full tank. If there's a full tank, good boy. All right, so like I said, I don't know how this thing works at all. But they sell the replacement parts, so it must come off. This is where all the mechanics that are watching are like, it twists. Or, it does this. Doesn't look like it twists. Doesn't really look like it just pops out. So let's pause the video and see if I can figure this out, and then I'll be right back with you. Are we there? All right, pound's still broken. I did a little research. They super glue the bulb in at the factory, because this is the one from the factory. So you want to get a little channel lock here and just go snap it just a little bit. I'm gonna make these a little bigger. Basically just work your way around. You hear the snapping, maybe. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but the snapping is the glue. You just kind of want to be really careful. And I don't know if this is the proper way to get the glue off. You could probably heat it with a blow dryer too. Oh, there we go. I actually thought I broke it. Scared me to death. Because then I'd have to buy a whole brand new one. Anyway, we got one more little part over here. I'm gonna run my finger around it, and now it just comes right off. Looks like we got a little break on it. I think we'll be all right. All right, so you can kind of see that it's super glued, and I'm not gonna worry too much about this. So I'm not looking for perfection, but I am gonna, you know, scrape it off just a little bit with the same needle nose pliers. It's kind of the idea is like, let's keep this as cheap as possible. Okay, now before you start this, so if you're watching my video and you're like, oh yeah, that's simple. Okay, it's glued. All right, so if you don't have some glue in your closet, you better not do it yet. You better go down to Lowe's or something and get some. I love this stuff. It's super glue just about anything. And it does literally dry in seconds. Now, I did research and find out that you can get new bulbs. I don't know, like the whole unit, but I don't know where you get them. I didn't see any place. So, I'm just basically gonna do it the way I plan to do it. All right, there we go. Now, the bulb that's broken, you just push it out. And you can see it has a pretty decent crack in it. It's garbage. It's probably as old as the machine. I'm sure it is. All right, so now we're gonna open our bulbs and we're gonna find one that's the same size. Looks like it's this one. We're gonna stick the new bulb in the thing. Oh yeah, look at that, nice tight fit. That's what we want. Just kind of make sure it's all the way around. We're gonna grab the glue. And you don't want to use very much of this stuff, because it's gonna go a long ways. And we're basically just gonna go like just a little dab. There we go. Around this. Like that. Blow on it a little bit. And then the side that I kind of broke, I'm looking for where it's kind of broke on here, then it'll line up anyway. Now, we're gonna take our pliers. Maybe. Hold on. Sure doesn't want to go back on there. All right, let's take a look at something else here. All right, let's pause the video for a second. I'm gonna go get some sandpaper. Okay, I got a razor blade. I'm just gonna kind of scrape out the old. I thought I could just kind of throw it back on there, but it doesn't look like it. This one has like a broken tip. What a pain. Safety first, right? Alright. So as you can see, I'm just kind of going around and scraping the black out, which is the old paint, or sorry, the old glue. Who knows what kind it is. And hey, worst case scenario, you bought the bulbs and stuff and it doesn't work, you can just go buy a new primer assembly unit, the whole thing. But I sure don't want to do that. All right, let's see if we can get it to work now. Just gonna toss it back in there. Man, that's a tight fit. Ugh. All right, there we go. And I think because the glue didn't exactly seem to work last time, this is harder than it looks. I'm basically just going around it again. like I did with the other part, and just kind of cleaning it up. What I did notice on this one though, and I didn't expect it, was that it looks like there might even be a small rubber gasket in there. And not so much just glue, but some type of a gasket. All right, let's see if it'll even fit now first before we go gluing. Not really looking like it. I think we're getting there. There's a couple of parts that... Alright, this is where I kind of go to my next secret. If I sandpaper anything that doesn't fit, especially if we're going to glue it. When it comes to sprinklers, I like to sandpaper the sprinkler lines to get them to fit again. I don't know if that's something anybody else does, but I always feel like that helps. I think I'm gonna be disappointed if I have to replace it. Should have made these screw on. I think it might work. This is kind of frustrating. You're probably frustrated watching me. Alright, we're going to go ahead and pause it while I kind of clean this up a little bit more. So, we got it cleaned up a little bit better now. Pound's still broken. If it doesn't work, I mean, who cares? I'll go buy another bolt, but... Anyway, I'm just going to throw some glue in here. Kind of like what it looks like they did in the factory. And push it back on. Like that. And then just kind of like push it down. Like this. And maybe I'll just hold both sides down on it. Ah, there we go. I was trying to not use my hands because it's super glue. But, I mean, what are you gonna do? Now we're just gonna let that super glue dry. This stuff should be the, like, 15-second stuff. So we should have a fixed bulb here pretty darn quick. And, I'm gonna run a dab right here. Inside this little gap area that it originally didn't have. Like I said, if it doesn't work, I'll just figure out a place to buy another bulb. It might even be that you can buy another bulb at Lowe's. By the way, I'm not endorsed by Lowe's. Just happens to be one of my favorite places to go because the people are so friendly and they always want to help you. Alright, so we're going to let it dry. I mean, it's basically fixed. Kind of windy today. I mean, that's basically a fixed unit. And so we'll just put it back in here in a minute. Now, what you might want to do since you're already here, I know this video is starting to get a little long, but since you're already here, you could replace all the other hoses. Keep in mind that if you're going to replace the other hoses, that you're gonna have to open up the back unit, you know, basically get yourself all the way to the carburetor to get those ones fixed. So I would say only fix the ones that are leaking, but if you're definitely already inside, go all the way. Don't waste your time. Just do it all. And I may do it all, so we'll see, but not in this video. And thanks for coming and joining us today. And it looks like this is ready to go back on. So I'm gonna stick it back together. Now, you might be looking at yourself going, oh crap, I forgot which one goes where. Okay, the middle bigger one goes to this one because it comes from the tank. Like that. And then the smaller hose goes to the other one, and it's labeled in. It's going into your carburetor. So that's how you'll know which hose is what. So I just thought I'd throw that out there as well. And that pretty much is fixing your Ryobi. Trying to get it back in there on the right way. That's basically fixing your Ryobi weed whacker so that you don't have to replace it. What we're gonna do, since we got it all back together, I'm gonna pour a little gas in it. We're gonna throw a little bit of this in there. What we're looking for now is, and this is worth it to see if it leaks gas. Basically put gas in there and see if it's leaking. And I don't know if you can get a zoom in on that, but it doesn't look like it's leaking to me. So it looks like I did fix the one that's leaking, and our bubble is working. Zoom in on that bubble. I do though recommend that if you're gonna do this job, honestly, just buy everything. Because, dang. Alright, that's it. Thanks for watching.